In the 3 years I've done content review, I've never seen anything quite this level of bizarre. And from one person to another who has seen the episode, you think Frank, finished? Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back with Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, DC Animated's Harley Quinn Season 5, Episode 6, Bottle My Heart, which I actually have to say was a improvement for the series overall. This actually had some semblance of structure, format, story, anything compelling to keep the story moving along. So I'm very happy that we're seeing some kind of growth from it, albeit it seems to be in like its latter stages of its life. But hey, that's not for me to decide. That's for you, the viewers, to decide. And at this moment in time, let's go ahead and just talk about the episode a little bit and some of the reasons why I believe it was better than it traditionally was. And I gotta be honest, I abhor musicals. I hate them with a passion. Everything about them, from the pageantry to the over the topness to the theatrics, just it seems entirely unnecessary to me to sing something that I can be like, hey, Brainiac's trying to destroy our city. We need to go ahead, find a way to stop him using the code 1111. That's it. See how quick that was? Barely took 20 seconds. Wasn't all that entertaining or all that engaging, though, as the episode was, but it's pretty straightforward. But in this episode, we started off basically with Harley talking to Lois, and she confesses to the fact that well, not basically, she offed Jason with Ivy. She literally went out of her way in the middle of just a standard conversation to make sure that she outed herself for the death of somebody else. What kind of evil genius doctor happens to do this? Just asking for a friend because, Harley has decided to embrace her new lifestyle, who she is. I didn't realize being stupid was one of them. Because talking to a reporter who's searching always for a juicy story, hence why everyone is so tired of Lois's shtick. Because the only thing she cares about is journalism, Superman, journalism, Superman. Just rinse, wash, and repeat. That's the whole character in a nutshell, and there's nothing else to her. She is void of conflict in this series, or void of having anything that is past the semblance of base character understanding, which as a spoof works just fine for most things. So Harley spends a lot of the time trying to go ahead and have her retract this statement, but then she decides to talk about Lois having some kind of neck adjustment or neck surgery done. So it's not even her real neck. Lois decks Harley and knocks her clean on her butt, which we pick up right after the opening, where Harley has now got a shiner and she is being consoled by both Poison Ivy and Frank. And she's kind of realizing that Ivy's got her own green initiative going on. Frank is running a massage resort where there's not necessarily happy endings, so to speak, but the massage is so good, no one cares. So Harley is having this existential moment. She's like, I have nothing going on anymore. I don't have a job. I don't have a career. I don't have passion. I'm just a housewife, which everyone reminds her she's a terrible housewife. She doesn't cook. She doesn't clean. She doesn't do all that stuff that she was doing basically 2 episodes ago. The house has fallen into a state of disrepair, but thanks to Ivy being on top of most things when she has time, things have kind of worked out for the most part. But Harley is really holding on to her old theater days where she's basically just living through the safety net that she had installed in her life when her parents were basically trying to end each other. And that this is her little cocoon, a sanctuary of safety that everyone kind of has in homes where things are not necessarily in the best state. And while everything's going on, Harley then sees that the Daily Planet has outed her and called her 48, which she took more offense to than the fact that she was being outed for the death of another human being. But hey, at this point, Harley's probably off hundreds, if not thousands, so not really big of a stretch there. So having her incriminated will just be another day, another dollar. It's completely fine. She'd be out anyway, so why are we too concerned about that plot point? She goes to the Daily Planet, quickly figures out that Clayface has been running this whole show, trying to be, Perry White for this entire time. And she's like, look, you're gonna have the story retracted, or I'm gonna out you. Which Clayface's terrible acting continues onward. He pulls Lois is like, hey, you need to pull this story. I'm about to be outed. He doesn't tell her he's about to be outed, but he's just straight up like, look, You need to pull the story. You're basically slandering Harley. This can't be run. Lois, of course, then starts talking about her Pulitzer. The entire office tells her to shut up. We all have coworkers like that who they're incessantly talk about the one good thing they did for years and years and years. And we get it. No one cares. Shut up. So with all that going on, she was like, look, I'm done. I quit. She's just going to go off and do her own thing. As it turns out, Lena Luthor is once more having an argument with Brainiac. Finally, he's like, look, Coco's dead. Coco's dead. He's not with us. You're crazy. When am I going to get to rule my little area within this bottle? And Brainiac's like, until it's perfect, I ain't doing anything about it. That's the only thing I'm concerned with. And as it turns out, they have a, what I would call a breakup in their team structure. Lena decides to out everything going on to Bane, Clayface, and of course, Clayface decides to use his power of media to make a musical. Because why not? It's like, why make another musical? Why make another podcast? Who needs this? Who asked for this? No one. But yet it still continues to happen on a daily basis. Far for me to understand what's going on here. But they decide to make it as crazy as possible. Harley decides she wants to play Lena Luthor in this, and they somehow get this greenlit, budgeted, started, and ends up not only on stage, but doing fantastically for the audience. The audience was literally eating out of Clayface's hand, metaphorically, through everything that they were giving, whether it was exposition, whether it was singing. Frank got the role of Coco, and he was doing a fantastic job until he decided to take a look at a plant that was off stage, and he's like, "Oh yeah, plant, you're talking to me dirty." What? What? How are the? I don't even want to like put any more conjecture on it, but Frank then decided to savage himself in front of everybody on stage, and of course we see that Brainiac has been watching this entire thing go on, other than this unfortunate moment that I keep having to live rent free in my mind now for I don't know how long. And he notices that Coco is actually dead. So Clayface, through the power of musicals, was able to provide therapy for Brainiac, who's been here allegedly for a good long while now. Great. We gave therapy to the villain, so now he can do what he needs to do. So much so to the point that he breaks the fourth wall, stares you directly down the barrel ends of the camera, and says, they will know hurt the way that I have hurt. That's great. That's exactly what we want from our villains. We want them to know exactly what they need to do, how to execute it, and be in the correct frame of mind to go ahead and do it. So great job, Clayface. You healed our villain, and our villain then decides to take out Frank, and now Frank is dying in Ivy's arms. Everyone thinks this is part of the play for the most part, and Frank then dies for all intents and purposes directly in front of Harley, Ivy, Clayface, and most of Metropolis, who turned out for this play because it turned out, it was smash hit. What will we see next from our crazy anti-heroes / anti-villains, because they're in this weird middle space? Not really sure. Who knows? All I know, you should hit that lovely subscribe button. You just listened to me ramble for about 8.5 minutes about Harley Quinn. Clearly, there's something you liked here in the content. The red subscribe button is down below. It's entirely free, as is hitting the like and or dislike button. Leave your thought in the comments below. I've been Brent for Geek Variants. I'll see you tomorrow for Dragon Ball Daima. Have a good one, folks.